This incident occurred during my second year as an RNA. I was driving, absolutely exhausted after pulling a double shift. The exhaustion was compounded by the nightly routine of going home, studying, and putting the kids to bed. Despite running on virtually no sleep, I convinced myself it was just a normal part of life at that time. As I drove, my blurry eyes caught sight of flickering lights that, upon closer approach, revealed a house engulfed in flames. Panic set in, and I pulled the car over, hastily dialing 911. The operator asked if I could hear anyone inside, prompting me to exit the car. A wailing cry, reminiscent of a child, pierced the chaotic scene. Without much caution, fueled by adrenaline, I moved closer to the fire, attempting to discern if someone was trapped within. The air grew hotter with every step, the flames dancing ominously. "Hello?" I heard the 911 operator say. I was about to share my concerns when suddenly, their cries escalated, now clearly pleading for help. Driven by a mix of adrenaline and concern, I rushed towards the inferno. Thick smoke obscured my vision, and I used my shirt to shield my face. Breaking a window, I entered the house, only to be met with a more intense combination of heat and smoke than I had anticipated. The child's screams guided me through a disorienting maze of collapsing debris, the heat intensifying. Despite my efforts, I found myself lost in the smoke-choked chaos, stumbling over charred remnants of furniture. The child's cries persisted, but my attempts to locate the source proved futile. The oppressive heat and smoke added to the sense of panic. As the distant sound of a fire truck reached my ears, I desperately retreated outside, where firefighters battled the blaze. Breathless, I tried explaining the situation, but their puzzled expressions hinted at a discrepancy. Surveying the area, I realized the houses, including the burning one, were condemned. How had I missed that, considering it was a street I passed every day on my way to work? But what about the voice I heard screaming? Was someone trapped inside? Weeks later, an inspection revealed faulty wiring as the cause of the fire. As for the voice I heard in that house, they never found anyone in it. Troubled by the surreal experience, I sought therapy, with the therapist attributing it to sleep deprivation. To this day, I can't fully comprehend what happened, but the haunting memory of that burning voice remains etched in my mind forever. This was around 15 years ago. I went on this holiday road trip with my buddies from college. Corey was in the front passenger seat and Cade was sleeping in the back. We had planned to drive all the way to Florida during our semester break. We were on this sketchy road somewhere in Minnesota. The snow was coming down hard, making it hard to see. It also didn't help that the car we were using was Corey's, which had no left headlight. I guess those are the dumb decisions you make when you're 20. We were just hoping we wouldn't get pulled over. The road seemed to stretch on forever. I was behind the wheel, regretting this whole adventure already, when out of nowhere, bam! The car jerked and I quickly stopped. Cade, shocked, says, "What just happened?" Corey was staring out the window like he'd seen a ghost. Corey mumbles something like, "Dude, I think we hit something." My heart was skipping beats. We decided to check it out, like the responsible folks we are. I was looking out my windows trying to get my bearings. And such. We were literally in the middle of nowhere. To the left, we have woods. To the right, you guessed it, more woods. Corey dug under his car seat. "Yes," he shouted. He then pulled out this old flashlight. We stepped out of the car, immediately feeling the frigid wind hitting my face as I tried to see through the snow, expecting to see something out in front. But nope, nothing. The front of the cars had no mark on it. We then go to the back of the car trying to see where it happened. Cade said shockingly, "Man, I don't see anything." I too was amazed by this. How could there be no mark on the car from this? The sound when it hit, it was not something small. It had shook the whole car. In the back of my head, I thought something. I had thought it since it happened. I too had seen something like Corey had. It was dark, but I still saw some illumination from the lights that made up the deserted road. But what was it I thought I saw? We decide to go back a few feet trying to find where it had occurred. Cade points to a trail of blood leading into the woods, and we're like, well crap, we gotta investigate, right? Into the creepy woods we go, following this blood trail like some messed up scavenger hunt. Suddenly, the blood trail just disappears, poof. Now we're standing there in the middle of these creepy woods, wondering if we've stumbled into a horror movie. Corey's looking as freaked out as I feel, and Cade says with uncertainty, "I don't understand. I've gone hunting my entire life. Trails don't just stop." He looked at us, hoping for reassurance. In that eerie silence, we realize we're in way over our heads. No blood, no tangible thing to say we hit, just the three of us, standing there like idiots. We were debating whether we should keep searching for whatever we may or may not have hit. I was all like, "Guys, this is nuts, we need to go back." But Corey was all about being the hero, like, "What if someone's hurt, man?" As we're arguing about our next move, we see something far in the distance. Through the thick snow, we see what looks to be a frail old woman. She's just standing there facing us. Corey shouts, "Hey, are you okay?" But she doesn't say a word. We look at her for what feels like forever, all three of us, not knowing what to do. Without looking away, I whisper to Corey, "Shine the flashlight." He takes his gaze off of her to look at me. Suddenly realizing what I meant, he tries shining the light on her. As he does so, the flashlight starts flickering and finally goes out. But for a brief moment, I was able to see what she looked like. She had sunken black eyes with skin extremely pale and rough. She was wearing a black long gown. Suddenly, she begins cackling. It's a piercing laugh that was able to reach us through the loud winds. She starts walking slowly backwards into the woods, still looking at us, as the cackles go softer and softer off into the distance. I look over to Corey and Cade and say, "Let's get out of here, now." We decide to hightail it back to the car. We drive away and go to the local police, just to make sure everything is okay. They get our information and weeks later call saying they searched multiple times and weren't able to find anyone that fits that description in those woods. Last year I had lunch with Corey and he told me, "I still have nightmares about her. That face has haunted my dreams for years." We were cruising along this deserted highway in the middle of the night. Mary, my wife, behind the wheel, Sarah, our daughter, catching sleep in the back, and me, just staring into the dark road. Now, the lifeless road got to me, and I leaned back, closing my eyes, trying to catch a little sleep. Suddenly, I found myself in this deserted carnival, like one of those creepy ones you see in horror movies. Lights flickering, carnival music playing, and no one in sight. And there, under the lights, was this clown, all colorful, with eyes that gleamed in the darkness. It turned towards me, painted smile twisting into something I can never forget. Then as I was going to scream, it shushed me like it had some sinister secret to keep. I could see it was whispering something, but I was unable to tell what exactly it was. Suddenly, I'm being shook awake. I'm all disoriented and ask her how long I'd been out. She reassures me, saying it wasn't long. But as I turn around to check on Sarah in the back seat, she's not there. I'm panicking now, like full-on heart-racing panic. I look at Mary. "Where is she?" Mary looks at me like I've lost my mind. "Where's who?" Mary says. "Where's Sarah?" I yell. With a look of pure confusion, Mary says, "Who's Sarah?" I'm flipping out at this point. "Our daughter, Sarah. You know, the one who was just sleeping in the back seat." Mary's eyes widen. "We don't have a daughter named Sarah." Now, I'm genuinely losing it. I look back, and the back seat is empty. It's now just an abyss of darkness. It's like Sarah vanished into thin air. In desperation, I look at Mary, hoping this is all just a cruel joke. When suddenly the Mary I know and love is not there, she is replaced by this twisted, yellow-teethed clown with that same sinister smile from my dream. I freeze, my heart pounding in my chest. We are now staring at each other, he seemingly driving without any knowledge of what's in front of him. I can't comprehend what's happening. I, without thinking, yell, "Who are you?" "You should have listened to the whispers," he says in a raspy, low voice. Suddenly, I let out this guttural scream, "Ah!" But instead of the nightmare intensifying, everything shifts. I'm jolted awake and it's chaos. The world is spinning, and I can hear Mary shouting, trying to wake me up, but it's not a dream. We're in a car, and it's upside down. Turning towards the back, my heart sinks as I see Sarah, tears streaming down her face, crying for her mommy. In the midst of this turmoil, Mary looks at me with anger and frustration etched on her face. She shouts, "How could you fall asleep?" Her words carry a mixture of anger and fear, and guilt pierces through me. Sarah's cries intensify, reaching for her mommy amidst the chaos, and I struggle to comprehend the gravity of the situation. The flipped car, the shattered windows, and Mary's furious exclamations serve as a harsh reminder of the consequences of a momentary lapse.